We're live. Hey, everybody. I did not do anything with my hair today, so just ignore it. I think it actually lays pretty well on its own, but I literally just dried it and let it run wild. So, fun little thing for, Wednesday afternoon is a summer look, right? So welcome everybody. I'm so very glad that you're here. We are moving on to episode 10, and I actually am pretty sure I've made an interesting decision because as I was reading back through and making sure that I wanted to skip things over to or like meet things out the way that I had originally done when I first went through these chapters, I think that it really is going to be better of an experience for you all if we read instead of 13 episodes, we do 12. It's going to be obviously the same book either way. But the way that I have, like the way that this ending comes together, I feel like it's just going to be so much better to read it all at once. So we're making a little bit of a change, and I hope that it's not going to disappoint anyone. But I think it'll be better in the long run. So today we'll read episode 10. Monday we will read episode 11, and then Wednesday next week will be episode 12, and that will be the finale. So we will do a regular coffee chat this Friday and then also next Friday. But the coffee chat next Friday will be kind of a Shadow Demons wrap up for the end of this book. So we'll do some giveaways. We'll do some kind of discussions about what's happened so far in the books. But let me know now if you normally can't be here on, well, I guess it is a Wednesday now, so I'm probably asking the wrong crew, but you can let me know in the comments too, if you come back and watch the replays, if you were really counting on the finale being next Friday and you were going to be here for Friday and now it'll be a Wednesday thing. Cause then we could do something a little bit different. But I just reading back through it, I was like, I'm going to end the momentum on Wednesday and then only have 6 pages left to read on Friday. And I feel like that final episode will be so much better all read in one thing. It'll be about 10 pages long. So I I'm going to shift the I don't know how to explain it, but where the chapters end each time. So I think it'll leave us on a better place for Monday, and then it will be a better ending for us on Wednesday. So that's going to be the plan. We will only do 12 episodes instead of 13, and we will kind of elongate those too. Another thing on my mind is if we're going to do some giveaways next Friday. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for that. So many people saying you like my hair. George actually came in earlier. He was like, your hair looks so thick, luxurious. And I was like, I literally brushed it out after I wash it and I did nothing with it. And I was going to go up and curl it. And I was like, I don't know. I think it looks kind of good. Just natural. So thank you for your comments. That means a lot. So yeah, I think that I would love to know what types of giveaways you guys like best. Obviously, I would love to do some. Maybe I'm going to put together, if you guys enjoy the free desktop wallpapers and the phone wallpapers, I can do something that has maybe the first 4 book covers that say something like I listened to, or I'm part of the coven, or, something like that I can make for you guys. So I'm planning on that because I've been doing all the signed wallpapers and we don't have every single book in the series done. So I'm going to kind of create some things like that so that everybody gets something for free. But I would also like to give away some things too. So just let me know in the comments when you get a chance, what types of things. Do you like the posters better? Do you like kind of witchy related things better? Or do you like the paperbacks most of all, and that kind of thing? Janet and I had a 2.5 hour meeting on Monday, kind of talking through what we're doing for the Spooktacular, and I know it's still a ways out, but last year we kind of just did it sort of off the cuff. And I feel like there's just so many cool things that we could do. Jennifer, I should give away, some of your Redbubble stickers because so many people love those, witchy writer and different things like that. And I know we have a lot of writers here in our group too. So that would be kind of fun to do. But yeah, or a gift card to your shop would be kind of fun. a Demons logo vinyl sticker. That would be really cool. I definitely would like to do, we're going to be doing a Venom logo coming up as well. And that will be, I don't know when we'll have a chance to do all of that, but that'll be something that we'll sell later. For those of you that are fans of Sacrifice Me, you guys will also, if you don't read the side series Sacrifice Me, you'll get to know Venom by definitely, I think they go there in book 7 a little bit, but definitely in book 9, Harper has a big experience inside that club. And there's just, you'll see that here and there. But Venom is a club, like a nightclub that exists in the story world. You just haven't met it yet if you're new. So that'll be something new. So stickers would be cool. Oh, yep, you're not too late. You're good. You're perfect on time. Signed items like books, pages, etc. Paperbacks are good. Okay, those are cool. Books or tarot cards. That's another one. Yes, it's never too early to get hyped for the Spooktacular. So if you have just joined the community this year, in October, we did a Spooktacular event, and it was actually really, really fun. I had a great time, decorated the office, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this year I will be decorating the office in my brand new house. We still don't have a move-in date yet because there's a lot of materials that are delayed, but I will give you guys an update on how the house is coming up, how it's doing so far, because there is always every week kind of new progression on the house. But maybe by October, I'm really hopeful we'll have a whole new backdrop and things like that. Emma says, when is the best time to read the side stories? I want to read them as they fit in rather than at the end. So that is a great question, and actually a question that I got so often that I put together a reading order on my website, and Christabelle also has it linked in the pinned post in our coven on Facebook. But if you go to my website at sarahcannon.com, there's a tab that says reading order. So basically books 1 through 6 exist without any side stories. And then once you get past book 6, before you go to book 7, there's several stories involved before that. So you have technically the perfect order, I think, is to read Sacrifice Me first, which is, it's a spinoff series, and it's a little bit older. There is some open door sex scenes in that series. Not a lot, but a little bit. So it's not necessarily as appropriate for the younger crowd. And it is more of a romance series, but it ties so well into this entire Shadow Demons world. And it does, like, you see Harper in that series and things like that. But that first season of Sacrifice Me, and I call it a season because it was it was originally told as a serial, so more like a television show. It came out once every week or every 2 weeks, a new episode came out. But now there's a box set of all 6 episodes that create the first season of that series. And I think if you guys are liking my writing, you'll definitely love that series as well. It's a really fun series. And so you read Sacrifice Me next. Then After Midnight is a short story that follows one of the characters that is a side character from this story, but I won't tell you who or what that's about. And then the next one is A Demon's Wrath. And After Midnight and A Demon's Wrath happen on the same night. And A Demon's Wrath is Jackson's backstory. So it's told from his point of view, where he's in the present. He has something very important he wants to talk to Harper about. And so it's told kind of in past flashbacks. So you've got Jackson telling his story to Harper. And I did see in the Discord that somebody said, I'm not going to read that because I kind of know what already happens. Like, Airden gets taken, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, if you want to know as much as you can about these characters, there really is a lot in that particular book. Not only a huge moment for these characters emotionally, but also you find out everything about what really happened. And you're going to start to get more of these mysteries in Rival Demons about Jackson's relationship with Leah. You'll see Leah in today's episode, but you'll get a lot more about his relationship with Leah in Rival Demons. And so then to really bring that full circle and understand what the heck was going on, you got to read that A Demon's Wrath. And that happens literally right before book 7 begins. So there is definitely an order. There were also some little short stories that I wrote, very short, just a few paragraphs for each of the 4 main POV characters leading into book 7. So all of that is linked on my website, and you can definitely go check that out. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys, just if you weren't following over on Instagram, I posted this yesterday. I got some new candles from Lunan Love. This is my favorite. She has an Etsy shop and just a regular website. She's set in California, but she hand makes all of these candles. And these are glass ones that just have like a little canister opening, but they all have like crystals and glitter and different things like that. This one is a road opening candle. And road opening, since we talked about manifestation, I thought I would mention it to you guys. Road opening is really a type of energy to open the roads between you and your desires. So for me, if I wanted to manifest that TV deal, I would light a road opening candle and maybe do some kind of ceremony to open the roads so that my path to that TV deal, whoever I need to meet, whatever connections I need to make, so you could do this if you were trying to open roads between you and a new job opportunity, or you and a new house, or a new like city you want to live in, or even a new relationship. So this is a really cool candle, and these last a really long time. So what it says in the back is it's lemon and peppermint scents. This candle is filled with luck to open doors of opportunity. It is infused with cleansing herbs and oils to clear and remove anything holding you back. Light this candle to bring about new financial opportunities, a new job, increase in cash flow, etc. These work great with our money drawing candles. So she is also a Reiki master. So she infuses these candles with that Reiki energy. And I just love and adore her stuff. And I have been buying from her for a while. She has I also got some body oils and different stuff from her. So I wanted to show you that. If you want to see all 4 of the candles, they are over on my Instagram. But also, just because I thought this would be fun, I got this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, because I kept losing my lighters, or they would run out of little fuel or whatever. And I thought this was so cool. But I guess it's just like an off-brand, I don't know, Supris or something. But it's basically, you open it like this, and you can see how well it's charged, but it charges with a USB, and then it creates a flame, basically. So you don't need a lighter or like a match or anything. So I don't know if I can show you guys. See how I don't know. I can't quite get it on screen because then I can't see it. Okay, I'm just gonna have to do it this way. But it basically just ignites that candle. Yeah, it's lit. You just can't really see it on camera. It is lit, I promise. Why is that not showing up? That does not look like it's lit at all, but it is lit. Maybe there you can see that it's lit. But I just thought this was really cool. It's like a little piece of technology that is just really cool. So the charge lasts, it has a 4 charge, and I haven't charged this probably in a month and a half, and it still has, it says half of its battery. It looks like, yes, I love that. It's like a candle taser. It's a tiny candle taser. I just think it's really cool, and you charge it up so you never have to refill it or, get 1,000 different lighters or matches or anything like that. So it's just kind of like one and done. You just keep recharging it, and you can use it over and over and over again. And it's also long. They have some that are shorter, for actual, if you were smoking or, doing something like that. But this one is nice and long, so you can really put it deeper down into the candles. So, oh no, JD says, I have one, and it drives my dogs insane. They just freak out hearing it through the computer. Oh no, poor puppies. I'm so sorry. I will not do it again. So I just thought that was kind of cool. I think that all you have to do is search on Amazon for USB chargeable lighter or something, and they have tons and tons of them. So yeah, it is a great thing to put into your emergency kit or to have around your candles so that you don't have to keep wasting lighters and throwing them out if you have a lot of candles like I do. So just another little thing. So if you have just joined us, welcome. We are going to be reading episode 10 today of Shadow Demons. Last time on Shadow Demons, we had a huge scene. So this is really one of the big pivotal moments, not only in this book, but in the series overall, because this is definitely no turning back from this kind of moment for Harper. and for Jackson. So basically at the infamous Halloween ball, we know how the parties tend to go in Peachville. At the infamous Halloween ball, Harper just could not let go of this idea that Lydia Ashworth, the current leader of the Peachville's coven, was her mother's best friend and knew about Harper being born and all of this, and actually conspired with the Crows to kill her mother. So she confronted her. Lydia denied having known anything about it. And in fact, Jackson also denied that he knew anything about it back in the past. But when Harper reads these demon words that she found on her mother's journal, it unlocks those memories, and they are transported back to the night that Harper's mother cast this spell on Jackson and Lydia. And she finds out that after she was born and Jackson took her as a baby to the orphanage, she had Jackson create a truth potion where she gave it to Lydia and basically found out the truth that Lydia had in fact been conspiring with these Crow witches to try to overturn the order and take it from Harper to the Crows and to Lydia. And so that was kind of this big thing. The Crows, in order to get an in with the Peachville Coven, needed someone who would swear a blood oath with them. And Harper's been wondering this whole book, who possibly could have gotten into the Crow village, because you had to swear a blood oath. Well, it turns out Lydia Ashworth did that 16, 17 years ago, before Harper was even born. So that was a big realization. And with that, Harper just got so angry, she basically attacked Lydia Ashworth. Did not hurt her because Zara stepped in. But now let's just say everything has changed for them. So Jackson, in a moment of knowing that he needed to save Harper from this situation, shifts into his demon form, which is like a misty smoke form or a shadow form, and takes her away from the party. But they're hiding just nearby, but not too far from the party. And Jackson has just told her for the first time that he loves her. So we are in chapter 45. Oh, I also am going to mention this to you because I started reading through this. This is an episode where we talked about inconsistencies. This is an episode where I gave each of these characters that you're about to get to know a little bit better different accents kind of from all over the world, and then it literally never comes up again. So I'm not going to read these in accent. And in fact, I probably will remove these mentions from the book because I didn't realize at this point how important these characters would become later to the series. And I like I mentioned that Leah has an English accent, but I don't really hear her in my head having like a British accent. So I'm not going to read a British accent. I'll probably take that out of the book. So just ignore that when you hear it. Okay, chapter 45, Free Fall. My pulse raced as Jackson leaned closer to me, his lips so soft and warm against mine. I lost myself in his kiss. The rest of the world faded to nothingness. I put my arms around his neck and melted into him. I never wanted this moment to end. My body felt electric, alive. I pulled away breathless. I rested my forehead against his. I love you. Jackson put his hand over my mouth, his body rigid. I listened, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I know you're out there, Brooke said. She was close, maybe 15 feet away near the house. You'll save us all a lot of trouble if you just come out and face this. You can't ignore what just happened in there. Jackson has a lot to answer for, and so do you. I swallowed and leaned against Jackson's chest. We have to get out of here, he said. I nodded. Okay. Jackson pulled me close, his arms tight around my body. Close your eyes, he said. I pressed my face against his shirt, and suddenly we were falling, flying, twisting. I clung tight to him. My body was light and floating. Air rushed through my hair, and my stomach felt weak, like we were in free fall. When the world finally settled and my feet touched solid ground, I opened my eyes. We were in a dark alley. A street lamp flickered, casting uneven light on the area around us. Motorcycles roared in the nearby street. Jackson took my hand as the group of riders stopped just at the entrance to the alley. So, maybe you do need me after all. The girl in leather smiled, her eyes locked on Jackson's face. She had an English accent. I squeezed his hand tighter. What is she doing here? I asked, my voice cracking. Harper, this is Leah, he said. He swept his hand from her to me. Leah, Harper. The girl narrowed her eyes into angry slits. We'll have time for introductions later, she said. But seeing how you've got the whole bloody order after you at this point, I think you better come with us. Christo, grab the girl. Jackson, you're with me. No, Harper stays with me, Jackson said, placing an arm in front of me as a guy near the back got off his bike and came toward me. I gasped and took a step back. I recognized the guy they called Christo immediately. It was the same guy who had been watching me from the window of the pizza parlor a couple weeks ago. His beaded braids clacked together when he walked. Don't be difficult, Leah said. If you want my help, you play by my rules. Jackson's chest rose and fell. He looked from Christo to me, then back again, his arms still raised in defense. You have to promise me you'll be very careful, he said, and we all stick together. Leah's jaw grew rigid, and her lips thinned into a tight line. Come on, mate, Christo said. If we don't move, we'll all be in trouble here in a minute. I'll take good care of her. My eyes widened as Jackson slowly lowered his arm. Where are they taking us? I asked. And who are these people? People? Leah raised one eyebrow in a high arch and laughed. You've got a lot to learn, little girl. I shivered. The hatred in her voice terrified me. I wasn't sure what I'd done to make her hate me so much, but disdain dripped from her words like poison. I promise I'll explain everything once we get there, Jackson said. You'll be safe, I promise. I won't let anything happen to you. I threw my arms around his neck. I just wanted you to know that I love you too, I whispered in his ear, then kissed his neck. My declaration had been interrupted earlier, and I wanted to make sure he knew exactly how I felt about him. Jackson leaned down and swept me up into a kiss. Leah cleared her throat. I'll be right there with you the whole time, he said. Everything is going to be okay. I nodded and reluctantly walked away from him. Christo motioned toward his idling motorcycle. It was much bigger than Jackson's, its engine so loud I could barely hear my own voice. Got an extra helmet? I shouted. Christo's eyebrows pinched together and he turned his head, questioning. Helmet, I said, pointing to my head. You know, so I don't fall on the pavement and crack my skull open. Christo smiled, his whole face lighting up with laughter. His teeth were bright white and perfectly straight. You're funny, he said, then climbed onto the bike. I sighed. Awesome. I crawled on behind him and tentatively put my arms around his waist. In front of us, Jackson got on Leah's bike. I couldn't hear them, but they were arguing with each other about something. The sight of him with his arms around her waist made me want to scream. There was definitely something between them. When he'd said he knew a place we could go, I never dreamed he meant we'd be running away with some hot chick and her gang of thugs. I tried to ignore my jealousy. I wasn't exactly in my right mind. He'd said they were old friends, nothing more. Leah and Jackson sped off and the rest of the gang followed. Christo and I rode in the middle of the pack. We were going so fast I had no choice but to hold on tight, pressing my body close to his, to this stranger. We rode through the deserted streets of Peachville, over the bridge that led out of town, and then on past the county line. Everything we passed was a blur. We had to be going over 100 miles an hour. Around a tight turn, the motorcycle leaned so close to the pavement I could swear my hair glided across the asphalt. I held tighter to Christo's waist. Whatever you do, mate, don't let go, Christo yelled over his shoulder. I peered around him to see if we were about to go around another corner or up a hill, but the road was a straight shot into the darkness. Still, I clung to him, my heart racing. "Here we go," he said. I closed my eyes, my body tense. The motorcycle seemed to jump into the air. Then I felt my body twist and turn. It felt the same as when Jackson had shifted into his shadow form. Suddenly, I understood why these people were his old friends. They were all shadow demons. Chapter 46, Fugitives. We were shifting into shadows, becoming a part of the air around us. I didn't dare open my eyes. I knew the ground wouldn't be underneath us anymore. We flew through the air, dark shadows against a dark sky. My stomach flipped and lurched as we dipped and turned and changed directions so fast I couldn't tell which way was up anymore. I screamed into the back of Christo's jacket, unable to contain my fear. Then suddenly, I was solid again. I lunged forward as the motorcycle landed on the ground. I needed a minute to let my head stop spinning. I clutched the fabric of Christo's jacket tight in my fists, my face still buried in his back. "You okay back there?" I shook my head back and forth. I wasn't sure what I was. Glad to be in solid form, scared out of my mind, confused. Anything but okay. Christo peeled my hands open. "You can let go now, sweetheart. We're safe here," he said. When I didn't move, he said, "Jack, you want to come get your girlfriend? I think she's freaking out or something, man." "She's not his girlfriend," Leah said. "She's a human." A warm hand on my back, Jackson's voice in my ear. "It's okay, Harper, I'm here," he said. "Come sit down by the fire and warm up a bit." I hadn't realized my body was shaking so much. When I opened my eyes, I realized we were very far away from Peachville. The moonlight illuminated the rocky cliffs. I could hear waves crashing against the shore below. There weren't any rocky shores in Georgia. Heck, I wasn't even sure there were cliffs like this on the East Coast until you got pretty far north. Where the hell had they taken me? And how did we get here so fast? Jackson took my hand and helped me off the bike. He led me toward the edge of the cliff. "There's no fire," I said. A black guy with long, thick dreads walked up behind us. Without a word, he thrust his palm upward, creating a large flame that seemed to consume his entire hand. He looked around, located a few pieces of dead wood, then brought them all to us with nothing but a flick of his wrist. The logs stacked up on the ground in front of us. He took the fire in his hand and threw it down toward the pile. The logs caught fire instantly. I stepped back, the heat shocking against my cold skin. "Here," Jackson said, pulling up a large piece of driftwood. "Sit down in front of the fire. Shifting like that can be really disorienting for a human, and it gets really cold the higher up you go in the atmosphere." "How high were we flying?" I asked. Jackson and the guy exchanged looks. "Higher than an airplane?" Jackson said. "Let's just leave it at that." I sat down, my jaw trembling from cold. The black guy sat next to me, crisscross on the dirt. I stared at him, and he nodded up at me. "I'm Harper," I said. "Mordecai," he said. "Nice to meet you." I smiled. At least this guy seemed normal for a shadow demon. I held my hands out toward the fire to warm them. They were numb from the cold. My heart slowed down to a normal beat, and the events of the night started to sink in. I'd attacked Mrs. Ashworth. The order was coming for me and Jackson now. We were fugitives. What were they going to do with us once they did find us? I wasn't sure. I wanted to know. And how did we end up on the run with a bunch of shadow demons? I hadn't even known there were others like Jackson here in our world. Demons who weren't bound to witches? I had a million questions I needed to ask him. When I turned to find him, though, he was by that girl again, Leah. I studied her in the firelight. She was undeniably beautiful. She looked young like me, but I had a feeling she was also old, like Jackson. I watched them argue. She placed a hand on his arm in a move that had such tenderness and affection it seemed out of character. I expected Jackson to pull away, but he didn't. He just stared at her. I swallowed hard. They obviously shared a past, and after tonight, I was sure that any hope I had of a future with him was slipping through my fingers like sand or shadow. Chapter 47. I'm Eric, a short guy with spiky hair and a California surfer dude accent came close to the fire and introduced himself to me. You already met Mordecai and Christo and Leah, of course. I looked around the small camp. There was one more member of their group I hadn't met. A skinny Asian guy with glasses and a boxy haircut stood off to the side, staring out at the ocean. That's Juiced, Mordecai said, following my gaze. He doesn't talk much. Where are we? I asked. If Jackson didn't have any answers for me, maybe these guys could tell me what the hell was going on. Oregon, Eric said. About as far from your little town as we could get without leaving the country. My eyes widened. Oregon? We must have been going a lot faster than I ever could have imagined. I rested my elbows on my knees and propped my head up, staring at the fire. Thanks for coming for us, I said softly. Mordecai smiled at me. Sure thing, he said, then laughed. Although I might have liked to watch you fight the Order of Shadows. Something tells me a little thing like you might actually be able to screw some shit up when it comes to those witches. I shook my head. Fight the Order? No, thank you. I had nowhere near the skill and training most of those women had. Don't look so worried, mate, Christo said, coming to sit by the fire with us. He had a beer bottle in his hand and he tipped it up, the liquid flowing into his mouth until the bottle was completely empty. The three guys started talking about some party they crashed the weekend before. I zoned out, lost in my questions and trying to figure out exactly how we were going to get out of this mess. I had no idea how much time passed before Leah and Jackson joined the group at the fire. Jackson sat next to me on the driftwood, and the touch of his knee against mine made me feel almost sane again. Thanks again for helping us get out of there, Jackson said. No worries, Mordecai said. The hardest part was riding away without getting rid of any of those witches, Eric said. I mean, a whole tent full of them. We could have brought some serious pain. Everyone around the fire laughed. Christo tossed his bottle at Eric and rolled his eyes. I tensed. Was he talking about killing witches? I looked at Jackson, hoping he would have some answers. He reached over and gave my hand a squeeze. The subtle shake of his head told me to keep my mouth shut no matter what this group had to say. We still could, Leah said. She stood with one foot propped up on a large rock. She was staring at me across the flames. We could end the Peachville Coven right now if we wanted to. I started to stand up, but Jackson put his hand on my leg. I stared at him. Was he seriously expecting me to just sit here while this girl threatened to kill me? She's joking, Harper, he said. He turned to Leah. Harper's been through a lot tonight. Can't you just give her a break? She narrowed her eyes, her gaze still firmly on me. Now where's the fun in that? Come on, Leah, Mordecai said. Let up. What do we do from here? Christo said. Are we just going to hide out here for a spell? Won't the Order send someone after her? Well, we can't take her with us on our planned mission next week, that's for sure, Eric said. I'm cool with taking a break, to be honest, Mordecai said. It's been a long time since we took a week to just chill. Leah stomped her foot down on the ground. We didn't come to this world to chill, she said. This isn't a vacation, in case you've forgotten. These human witches have stolen thousands of our brothers and sisters, making slaves out of our loved ones. And for what? She looked straight at me, her mouth twisted in a gruesome snarl. For their own selfish power. I had to practically bite my tongue off to keep from giving her a piece of my mind. She was treating me as if I had purposely chosen this life, as if I was somehow responsible for the Order's actions. An uncomfortable tension hung between us. Christo grabbed another beer from the cooler on the side of his bike while everyone else just stared at the fire. Juiced had finally come over to the fire, but he sat behind the rest of the group without a word. "We've kept out of your business in Peachville," Leah said to Jackson, "out of respect for you and your family. It hasn't been much of an issue since their power was diminished, but without a prima, those witches were nothing to us. But you know as well as I do what they're going to do now. We can't just sit by and let that happen." Jackson ran a hand through his hair, then leaned forward, his elbows resting on his knees. "What is she talking about?" I said, not able to keep my mouth shut for long. "What are they going to do?" Jackson shook his head and looked up at Leah. "You had to bring that up now?" he said. He turned his body toward me, his shoulders tense, his eyes dark. "After what happened tonight, they'll consider you dangerous. It won't take much for Lydia Ashworth to convince the rest of the council that extreme measures need to be taken." I sat up straight and tried not to show fear. "What kind of extreme measures?" "They'll either wipe your memory or initiate you early," Jackson said. "Or, if they have the Crow's spell books, they'll kill you and use your blood to initiate a new prima. My guess is that Mrs. Ashworth will be quick to want the job." "They have the books," I said. "How do you know?" Jackson asked. "Because the earring I found down there in the library belongs to Brooke," I said. "And I'm pretty sure the only way they were all able to get down there was because Mrs. Ashworth pledged a blood oath to the Crow's coven a long time ago. I think Brooke's family and Mrs. Ashworth's family have all been working together." No wonder Brooke was suddenly dating Drake. They'd obviously made some kind of alliance. "Either way, Peachville is going to have a new prima," Leah said, "and that means restored power." I took a deep breath and stared at the orange flames. In both of those scenarios, the real me died. "What about you?" I asked Jackson. "What will they do to you?" "Now that they know I have my old powers back, they'll try to bind me again, and this time they'll recruit help." "Help?" "The High Council," he said. I shook my head. We were totally screwed. How could we fight against that? "So what now?" I said. "We run?" "From the Order of Shadows?" Eric said. "Not for long. They'll find you eventually. Best you come up with a good plan now so that you meet them on your own terms." "The Order has people everywhere," Christo said, "and access to magic more powerful than you could ever imagine. It's only a matter of time before they find you." "Well, we can't just give up," I said. "Let's get one thing straight," Leah said. "There is no we. It's you on your own, girlie. If Jackson wants to tie his fate to you, that's his business, but don't include us in your future plans. We'll help you hide out, but only because Jackson and me, we share a past. I owe him my life, but you, I don't owe you anything." "Give the girl a break, Leah," Mordecai said. "Look at her. She's terrified." I stopped wringing my hands together and lifted my chin in the air. I was scared, sure, but I didn't want to look weak. "Maybe we should just leave this until morning," Juiced said. His voice was quiet, but everyone listened and nodded. I met his eyes for a moment, but he quickly looked back down at the ground. "Fine," Leah said. "Christo, conjure up some tents. Mordecai, put out that fire so the whole world doesn't know we're here." The group dispersed, everyone busy with getting the camp ready for sleep. I sat on the driftwood log, my legs trembling too hard for me to trust them. What had I gotten myself into? Beside me, Jackson wrapped his arm around my shoulders. I leaned into him, my body and mind completely exhausted. "We need to talk," he said. That was the understatement of the year. "Yes, we do," I said. "And this time, no secrets." And that's where I leave you until finale week. So who thinks that Jackson will really say no secrets? Who thinks he's ready to tell all? For those of you that know what happens next and in the next few books, you know the answer to that. So this is an interesting kind of scene where we have this band of demons that are not like Harper has heard of all of these other demons like Airden and the ones that are tied to all these witches. These are demons that are free, basically. They're not tied to a town like Jackson. It's just this group of 4 guys and a girl who have some kind of missions, and they've been, at parties and potentially traveling all over the world when you can carry your motorcycle across the entire country in a matter of, a few hours or however long it was for them. So, you've got this group of demons, and I think it would be fun in the future to write some story. So this is a potential thing that will go into a Shadow Demons box set in the future, is writing some stories about Leah and this group of guys and the types of things that they did before, because that's something that never really gets into the story too much in the future, which is not a spoiler. It's just, kind of letting you know that we do find out a little bit more about the kinds of things they were doing while they were, off on these adventures and things that they've been doing while they're in the human world. But we don't know for sure the details of any of their escapades as a group. And I just think it would be a fun kind of novella or side little scenes to show some of their adventures together while they, between when they've been in the human world and this moment that they've met up with Harper. Because everything here, this scene together, this not only changes Harper's life forever, but it changes Jackson's life, and it changes these 5 demons' lives. Everybody's lives are changed from this moment forward. And I cannot wait for you guys to see more about it. Really and truly, I would love to write more about each of these characters. Mordecai, probably you will see more of than other people, because for some reason, I just really like his character. I've always wanted to write maybe some more side stories specifically about Mordecai, but you do see him more than the others in some of the future books. But you do see all of these guys, of course, but it's really fun. But it's like, oh gosh, for those of you that know, when Harper or Leah kind of looks over and she's like, "Me and him, we have a past." It's like, oh, no stories on Leah. Joke's on you, Anisha. Nobody likes Leah, of course. And this is one of my favorite things that you guys will ever kind of see in my writings. This happens in it happens in a lot of books that I write that have a longer series. Is I love taking characters that you see from one point of view and then later giving them a different point of view. And everybody hates Leah when you first meet her, but I promise there is more to Leah than meets the eye. So just hang in there with her. But you're free to hate her for now because she's being really mean to Harper. But we'll just say that everybody always has their reasons for the way they are, including Lydia Ashworth and Brooke and all of them. So, one thing you will notice in a lot of my writings, if you stick with me, is that I do love to take people, sometimes people that you hate, you're just going to hate forever. But I do love to take people that you hate because they act a certain way and really give you that depth of character later that you say, oh my gosh, I see why they were the way they were. And now I love them. If I can answer the challenge of making you love Leah, then let me know, Anisha. We will keep up to date on that. So there is a lot more Leah to come as well. So that is episode 10. We're going to just do episodes 11 and 12 next week instead of having an episode 13. We will do Yeah, Leah has her reasons, right? We will do just 2 more episodes instead so that I can read a longer episode on Wednesday. And I think it will come off so much better that way. And on Friday this week, we will do an update on how Vengeful Darkness is coming along. It's going great. I'm excited for the release. If you have not caught up yet with the series, I will hopefully by next Friday be able to announce to you guys what we're going to keep doing and reading. Right now, I'm kind of leaning toward just continuing on with the Demon series through what I would call the very first story arc. So this series was told very much in 2 distinct story arcs. And the first story arc is this one with Harper and the Peachville Coven. And once we get to book 6, there's going to be some shifts in how the world works and how things are going with Harper. And I won't expand on that, just to say that by the time you get to book 7, we're kind of into a second series story arc. And the second set of books goes from 7 to 12, where you're kind of facing a longer story arc there. So I was thinking it would be good to just go ahead and read all the way through to book 6 in this format. Now, book 6 is quite a bit longer. So the first 4 books that we've read have all been 70,000 words and below. By the time we get to book 6, though, that's almost 120,000 words. So those will be a little bit longer episodes. And there's just so much still to come in these last 2 books. So let me know either on the replay in the comments, have a discussion in Discord if you have any thoughts about that. If you guys would like to keep reading those 2 books or just do coffee chats for a while until the releases. But I'm kind of leaning toward going ahead and reading those books the way that we have been, with coffee chats on Fridays and readings on Monday and Wednesday, until we get through this story arc. And then after that, doing basically a book club type thing. I mentioned this on Monday, where we would say, okay, this week we're going to read Sacrifice Me. And on Friday, we're going to have a chat about that book and what all happened in it. I think my biggest concerns about doing a Friday coffee chat is with a book club is, for those of you that have not read, up through this, are you willing to read on your own? Will you have time to read them on your own to catch up to the final book in the series? Because otherwise, if we discuss it, there's going to be major spoilers here on the internet. So that would be my biggest downside of it, of doing the book club style thing. So I'm just not sure. It might be, I don't know. I'm going to have to talk about it. Maybe we'll start a discussion about it over on Discord at one point. I did see that somebody had asked if we were going to do another watch along, and I think that would be a fun thing to do. I don't know if I have time this weekend, but maybe after next weekend is the virtual retreat. Let me know if anybody has any ideas on what we could do as a watch along. We could either do, again, through Netflix teleparty, or we could do some just kind of chatting and hanging out in the Discord server. We could watch something together, or we could watch me play some games or do some stuff like that. Rana says, yes, that was me. So Jamie says, I probably would not have time to read it. So if you guys, a lot of you are caught up and have read everything. And of course, by the time we get to the end of Demons Forever, then book 11 will have already been out. So everything will be out except for that final book in the series, which I have not quite announced the title for, but some of you may know that title. Don't say it. We will do an official announcement. But I think that is the biggest part of or the hardest part of doing a just wide open forum on YouTube book club type thing. So it might actually be better to do coffee chats or reading something else continuing on. Yeah, Christabelle knows. Some of you from Publish and Thrive know, because I talked about that in the course, the naming conventions and how I was going to use that in the 12th book. But maybe the book club thing would be better to be done on a channel in Discord where we could have a chat there, or something that we do just live, live discussions in Facebook. We could also do something here on YouTube that is private link. So only the people, rather than making it a public thing where everybody could attend, it would be just for the people that have read the book. So that way it's not spoilers for people that haven't read them. So there's lots of options for that. I also really, really want to finish out. I'm kind of getting an idea that I'm going to go straight from writing book 11 to writing book 12, and that will be the next big book out there. Also, since you guys are here and I have your attention, and we've still got 10 minutes, do you like pre-orders? Because I'm trying to decide if I want to put book 12 up on pre-order. I can't guarantee a release date yet. So probably what I would do is put it out for the max possible time, which book 11 comes out on May 11th. So I would be able to set the pre-order for the final book at about May 10th or something, 2022. And then I would bring the release date up to whenever I thought I was going to be able to get it done later. So it would hopefully be out a lot earlier than that, but that way you would get a chance to pre-order. So I'm trying to make some of those decisions and trying to decide what's going to be the best to do. So if you like pre-orders, or if you never pre-order, let me know one way or the other what you guys think, just to get a little bit of feedback on that. But I think the other possibility would be that we would read all the way through Demons Forever. And then we would either read something different, because there's a couple of things. There's obviously, we still have The Witch's Door, but that book is not really started too well. Like I'm only like halfway through the first act. So that might be too hard for me to write and then also write book 12. But I have more than half of my book, The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, is written. And that book is plotted. So that one would be much faster for me to write, because it's only about a 50,000 word book. And it's kind of a ghost story mystery type. It's not, I wouldn't call it horror, but it is, it's a ghost story. So it's got some of those elements of kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer sort of feel to it, or like Pretty Little Liars kind of feel to it, where it's like, it feels paranormal, but is it really paranormal, or is it just feel paranormal? Is it a ghost or is it not a ghost? One of those kind of feels to it. So that might be fun to read. And then doing a book club that's more of like a private group for those of you that want to do it either in the Coven on Facebook or Discord, or a little bit of both. So Jennifer says, ghost stories, ghost stories. I also, I think that book is going to be really fun. And I think it will be a good one to read live, because it's going to be really twisty, and I think it would be fun. So that might be a good ramp up before we get to the Spooktacular. So hello. What you doing? Evie's still in her PJs today. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, Gaki.
This is chocolate. She knows I've got chocolate. This is my reward for doing well today. You cannot have my chocolate. You want one of my shells? You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy. You got a little food on her mouth. She's so sweet. She's getting so big, you guys. So yeah, I think that might be. Jennifer says, I'm still in my PJs too. Nothing wrong with that. No phone. So I think that might be some good things to look forward to. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. If you also have any ideas about things you would love to see at this year's Spooktacular, there is going to be a lot. So I have plans, but I'm not going to announce anything yet, but there's going to be some really cool stuff happening in the Spooktacular this year in October. So be looking forward to that, because it's going to be some things that I think will be really unique and fun and interesting. Let's not play with the lighter. You want to play with this? This is part of Mommy's setup for recording. It's just PVC pipe. Who knows what she'll do with that? She'll start drumming. But yeah, I think it'll be super fun, and we're going to have a good time with that. So as long as you guys are still having fun with our YouTube chats and everything, I'm going to keep doing it, because I really look forward to it, and I look forward to spending this time with y'all. So as long as you're still enjoying it, I will still show up. So definitely keep me updated with any feedback that you're having about, whether you enjoy it, whether you want to keep readings, or if you just want to do the coffee chats and things like that. So I accidentally started my dictation app when you started reading, but it caught it so weirdly. So it says killing would give me answers. No, that sounds very ominous. How fun is it that you make this a yearly event from something that was done on a total whim? I know I probably should stop doing stuff like that, but like over on Heart Breathings, that's the same as my HB Notebook Challenge over there, that it was like, yeah, chocolate. The HB Notebook Challenge was just something I did on a whim, and then now it's turned into like one of my most watched videos. Chocolate. Now she goes straight over to my little craft carts. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And the more stuff that we add on that is fun, the better it is for my creativity and my mental health, because I love this community. I love hanging out with you all. And it's fun for me too, to get back and reread. But this scene I was a little bit nervous about, because I know I had these accents that never come back. So it's kind of like you've got like a Australian guy, an Asian guy, you've got the guy that has the surfer California accent, and Leah's supposed to have a British accent, and none of that ever comes back into the story really. So we're just going to pretend that didn't exist. I did see somebody said, I would love to see these on Audible. So this is part of my plan for Q2. If you guys are interested in seeing my goals for Q2, I will be posting my 45-minute video. It ended up being 45 minutes. George swoops in and is like, uh-oh, I better take her before she destroys the office. But that 45-minute video about my goals and everything is going up tomorrow on my Heart Breathings channel, which, by the way, if you like some inside, scoop on some of my writing, or you've thought about writing your own book, come follow me over there. It's here on YouTube. You just search for Heart Breathings. It's probably in the description. I am 45 subscribers away from 42,000 subscribers, which is super exciting. So we're going to hit that in the next day or two. But I am planning to read Beautiful Demons for audio, and we're going to see how it goes. So we're starting with that book. Another thing that I plan to do, well, actually, I'm just not going to tell you. I have other things that are in the plans for Friday, or for the Spooktacular, and for later this year, that I think you guys will enjoy, that have to do with audio and audiobooks. So I am going to have to hire a producer, but I'm going to read them myself and pray that it turns out well. So I will keep you guys updated. I won't be starting that project until after Vengeful Darkness is released. I did see that some people were posting about what they thought about pre-orders. Some people said I'm ambivalent about it. Fine with it, but if there's a chance to get a signed copy, I'd prefer to wait. That's a good one too. So, gosh, I keep saying, I'm sorry. I'm trying to limit the ums, but oh my gosh, I'm already following, so I can't boost the number. Well, we need to get you to the next milestone. I really would love to hit 50,000 over there by the end of this year. So if anybody wants to come follow, I post a lot of planning stuff and things like that over there that will be fun, even if you're not a writer or just want to see behind the scenes. So yes, there is a post up in the Coven on Facebook. If you're not in the Facebook group, you can ask questions in the Discord group. If you're not in the Discord group, then you can come on Friday and I will answer questions from the chat. But you could also, if you want, you could leave a comment or a question here in the comments after the video is over. And because the live comments are harder to get to, but after the video is just a replay, if you want to comment there and say that my brain is moving faster than my mouth, that's probably true. If you want to comment on the replay of this video for Friday, if you can't be here, but you want to ask, then I will check those as well before we start. But if you're in the Discord server, then you can come ask over there too, and we will keep a chat of it, or Christabelle can copy it over so that I see it in the Facebook group. That's all we have for today, everybody. We're going to go cook some Alfredo pasta and hang out over there. But thank you all so much for being here. I'm so excited that we just have 2 episodes left to go. And then we will have a wrap-up party / coffee chat next Friday that will be full of fun giveaways. I'm going to order some extra books. I'm also ordering new book plates. So if you get any paperbacks that are not signed by me that you just ordered from Amazon, Christabelle is getting a whole new batch coming up soon of book plates that are basically stickers signed by me that she will send out to you totally for free, as long as you can show her a screenshot of your purchase or a picture of the books that you have, so that you can kind of get a signed photo. And if you have any other ideas of cool giveaways that you would like to see, just let me know, because I will be putting that all together for next week. Okay, thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you on Friday. Bye. Evie from the other room. Bye.